Hello there, it's great to have you within the four walls on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Mr. Adolf, the teacher, and here is the green ball to put you through. So we begin as usual with a classwork where we pick up any book and give it almost a book review. Then a preface to the topic of the show before the guest would join for the examination. Thereafter we do grading, then assignment. Before we move on, let's see what's happening recently in the Nigerian education system. So on Plateau State, the government has shut down more than 100 illegal schools across 17 local government areas. Mr. Jude Dakor, the Commissioner for Secondary Education, revealed this in Jos on Friday when he received an award on human values and education, which was given to him by a research organization. He said the schools, which were closed down in 2018, did not meet the standard requirements to train children who are the future leaders of the country, of course. Some of those schools were not certified to operate, some had unqualified teachers, as well as horrible learning environment. The commissioner just described all the situation in that quote. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be doing what's almost a book review. Don't go, we'll be right back. Welcome back. So it's time for almost a book review, the segment where we review slightly the books that need wider reviewing. So we picked this book titled Night of the Red Moon. This one is bloody, spine-chilling, and dangerously thrilling. It is a fictional prose written by O.J. Aito, and it is his first work, of course. Like I said, it's titled Night of the Red Moon. So the center character, Femi, a university student, has been killed by overzealous men of the Odua People's Congress, that's OPC, in a little town known as Ago-Iwoye. So this killing sends a cloud of fear and uncertainty over the entire space. But it is the retaliatory violence which begins as a peaceful protest that turns the town into a war zone, leaving the king dethroned, his palace in flames, and innocent students at the mercy of enraged indigents. There is bloodshed, rape, and more bloodshed that envelopes the night as four friends and their girls attempt to see the night out, including pen lovers Tubor and Temi, wonderful characters, whose first meeting quickly becomes a desperate survival adventure. They would soon discover that they had only been pawns in a big chess game, and that, sadly, many of them, try as they may, would not make it to the light of the morning. Night of a Red Moon, published by TND Press Limited in August 2017, is a gripping debut novel that would send pulsing-raising stain down your spine and puts you in places you would rather safely imagine. So it's full of romance, suspense, and more thrills, all wrapped in 370 pages. So that is it with almost a book review. So we go to the main topic. How can you evaluate your secondary education? It is said that the secondary or high school period is the most fascinating and yet the most challenging period in the life of every individual. Some experts do claim that it is the greatest turning point in a life where the foundation of succeeding and failing are laid. To have a useful insight on that matter, I'm now being joined by Tomiwa Oyatomi. Tomiwa, he's an artist. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
So what kind of artist are you, first and foremost?
I'm a contemporary artist. I major in painting.
All right.
I feel little sculpture. Just, naturally you have to have a computer knowledge. So I also work in graphics a little.
Everything a little. So you begin to pick...
Majorly in painting section.
You begin to pick all these little things from
Yes.
what segments in your life?
In fine and applied arts.
At secondary school level?
Not at secondary school level. Funny enough, in my secondary school level, I was a science student. So,
How did you switch?
you know, getting to Lautech, Lautech Akitola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, science and technology school, but they also offer courses like accounting, with accounting technology.
Why did you not stick to what you used to be
I
in?
stick to it, but you know, the circumstance of life, especially in schools, whereby they change our courses.
Okay.
I put in for computer science and engineering, but when I was offered admission, I was given fine and applied arts.
And you followed it? Against your will?
Not against my will. That's it.
All right. Let me take you back to your secondary school. Which school did you attend?
In my secondary school, funny enough, I went to Mayflower Senior Secondary School, Ikene
Mayflower?
Remo. Yes.
Where is that located again?
Ikene Remo, Ogun State.
In Ogun State?
Yes.
All right. So this topic, what your secondary school did to you, how can you explain your secondary school experience from the GS1 to SS3? The whole experiences that you gathered in your secondary school, how can you explain it?
Well, you see, going to a school like mine would rather give you a very elaborate experience.
All right.
Experiences that, you know, in normal secondary school, students wouldn't even dare to have such an experience. Because for the fact that we have close to like 300 in a class.
300 in a class?
Yes. So it's really exposed us to, one, being accommodating, because you don't have a choice. The person beside you might be irritating or not friendly, or, you know, you have to just adapt. Because when you look at the front, you can't even, especially short people like me, you know, it's not easy for you to see the front. You can't talk to some people because they are bullies. You know, they just shut you down, and you even have the chance to just be able to talk to few, maybe like 4 or 5.
What did all of that do to your life now?
In the first instance, though, it helped me to relate better now. Because then, you know, everybody tend to keep to themselves, because, you know, it won't be easy to talk to about 300 students in a class. And we have about 10
You can't say
arms.
you could talk to 300 students at a time. There are people who would disgust you, if I'm allowed to use that word.
Yes.
There are people who, like you said, are bullies. You definitely cannot associate with everybody.
Sure.
Definitely, there is somehow how you've managed to make friends, stick to them. And at this point in your life, it could also reflect in the way you associate with people. Isn't that true?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. In short, it helped me in a few times in my life. When I was 7 in Lagos, I couldn't relate well, because I eventually became the president of Dance and Drama.
Okay.
But, you know, dealing with different kind of people in a sect, you need patience. Okay, take for instance, being the class captain of such a class. We have 10 arms and you have one class to yourself, about 300 students, whereby even as the class captain, some of them can beat you. So, you know, in that kind of situation, you have to be careful. So I learned some things from my secondary school, which I try to use while in service.
Were you encouraged to be competitive? Was the environment encouraging you to be competitive?
I mean, it's
academically.
Really, yes, academically, it really drives you, because 300 in a class and we have 10 arms. So it means we have close to like 3,000 in one class, maybe JS1, you know. So it means we have like 3,000 students. Your position, your third time position is written according to, so you might be number 1,025.
You were a teenager then. Somehow, it is explained by some experts that some teenagers in adolescent stage do not think of the future. While you were in secondary school, seeing the competitions, you know, engaging yourself in those competitions without even knowing that they were happening, and so many vices that could be around.
Yeah.
Were you thinking in any way about your future, who you want to be?
From JS1 to 3, I never thought of my future. Never.
What
All
were
I
you
wanted
thinking
to do
about?
To survive.
Survive how?
To survive in the instance that in that school, in my secondary school, you are faced with different different, how would I put it, different things to do, in the sense that you wake up in the morning by 4 a.m. to jump ground while you're still feeling sleepy. You still have to jump ground a very large field. It's compulsory. You must not be on bed. You'll be beaten. That.
Okay, you stayed in the school dormitory?
Yes, I was in the school dormitory. So it's really pushed me beyond my limits. It pushed me beyond my limits, whereby I didn't really have a choice than to survive.
How can you explain the connection, for example, the dormitory masters, as you had them, or mistresses?
Yes.
How would you connect to things that they would lay down as rules and regulations or normal teachings, how to live a healthy life and everything? Did you absorb any of those things to help you now?
Were
they useful?
Yeah, they became useful because, you know, in that kind of place, they can't cater for every one of us.
Was this such a jungle?
Yeah, it was that, that a jungle. Like, it was very severe.
Then there would be breaking of rules and regulations.
A lot of it. I broke a lot of rules. I broke a lot of rules. And which, if I try to sit down and think about my past, some of them I regret them because they were not worth it. Leaving school, we have a gate in Mayflower. I don't know if it's still
Would you have preferred a day school?
Well, the thing is, they are not less better. The only thing I think we should do as adults is to make sure we guide the teenage ones, because then we didn't have guidance. It wasn't easy for them. Even day schools, some of them are brutal. In Lagos, they do inter-school fighting. You know, our secondary school is our middle class, so it determines who we are going to be in the university or polytechnic or monotechnic, anywhere we get to in the nearest future. But the thing is, in that level, we tend to have less guidance.
You talked about survival, and I want to believe that at that secondary school level, there could be survival skills that you must have learned, especially how education experts would say that secondary school level are the platforms where individual could be trained on how to survive, not the university level.
Yes,
university is quite different.
But
secondary school is where. So from your secondary school, Mayflower it is?
Yes, Mayflower.
What were the survival skills that you would say, oh, I am using these things now, they are relevant in my day-to-day activities right now, and I pick them from the school?
Okay, especially, let me start from the wake-up call. The wake-up call, which is by 4 a.m.
Do you still wake up by 4 a.m. right now?
Yes, I do.
Wow. Okay.
Something you do for 6 years. What do you expect?
All right.
You know, even the, I don't know, those who are in charge of psychology or those, but they said something you could do consecutively for up to a month will stick.
What other things?
So, in my school, there are different areas whereby we touch. We have club and society, you know, whereby we have different club. Air curtain. In short, as small as I was then, because I could remember I knew I was small, I had to handle a wheelbarrow because I was in road mending club. That's a club on its own. You understand? So some air curtain, air plating, carpentry, those are real miniature, and it's compulsory. No matter who you are, it's compulsory for you to join. Those skills that I acquired, I still use them till date. My dog's cage, I built them myself and every other thing. Then also, we had the opportunity to also be a workforce in places like the poultry, the snail shed, sheep shed, and every other thing. Those skills, we had to acquire them. Sometimes we even spend 2 weeks or a week in the kitchen. There was a case that I could remember. I had to stay back during Christmas to clean the piggery. So some people are allocated like that. Some people will come during the New Year. Some people will come.
Were these things given out of punishment or
not punishment? It's just
routine
for
the school. Okay, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the vices and some of the horrible things that you must have done in secondary school. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So, still on your matter, what secondary school did to you?
Okay.
We've talked about so much positive things, and I let you, discuss a lot of positive things, things that make it look like, wow, it's all about the good things. But then, there could be bad things.
A lot of bad things.
Are you willing to share?
Some.
Okay, shoot.
Okay. Wow, this is tough. But let me try to let out some. I could remember that we call a gate Golden Gate. Golden Gate. The Golden Gate leads to half mile from the road to town.
Okay.
Whereby we try to sneak through the compounds, especially maths and English period.
You avoided maths and English period
Yes.
to sneak out through the Golden Gate into the town.
Into the town. So through, ask me what
when you get into the town, what do you do? And how many of you to begin with?
Close to like 4 or 5, I guess.
There's a clique for that.
Yeah, there's a clique.
All right, so what did you do in town?
First and foremost, we pull off our shirt, not to be recognized.
And
then we go to the game house and play.
The video game?
Yeah, video games.
Okay, what else?
Then also, we go to parties overnight. Sneak out of the hostel overnight, We attend
What were the
prep.
things that happened in such parties?
In such parties, ladies, drinking,
And
to stupor, and ladies
and
making out. Then what else?
you can think deeper.
A lot of nasty things.
Okay, let's collect all these nasty things in a basket. I know there are so many other things that you wouldn't like to share, which I can guess.
Yeah.
But collecting all of them in a basket, how did you pull yourself out? Did you even succeed in pulling yourself out from all of them? Did they become very strong habits that you couldn't let go?
One thing I must say is our home determines our life most times. When I was through with secondary school, when I go back home, in short, because I got back home with a fairly woeful result. So it got me thinking, like, what have I been doing? Sincerely, my secondary school life, what have I really been doing? Even no matter how much I could give good tales.
When you say bad results, can you explain your grade?
Little above average.
Little above average, but that wasn't what the parents or you
My parents
expected.
are scholars, so they expected. My dad went to Unilag, my mom from Polybaton to UI, so they expected.
In any way, were they aware that you were not doing good? Because I understand that even schools in another state could have open day, time to visit even children in the school hostels. Your parents visited, they could have checked your academic progress. Didn't they?
That's where the issue is. That's where the issue is. I think they restrict open day to primary schools majorly. They might be doing it now in secondary school, but back then we never had an open day. My dad never stepped into my school, my secondary school. Only my mom, which is just to bring provision.
And nothing else.
And nothing else. She just believed I'm doing well.
And the academics.
I'm doing well.
You pretended. Did you put the effort of pretending to be doing well?
It was not that I started. It's not that I started bad. You get it? It's not that I started bad.
You derailed.
I very woefully. Like, I derailed, really. My JS 1 to 3 was fantastic.
How did you come back to the track?
Okay. When I got home, and I had cousins staying with us, so their results were fantastic because one of them went to the unique school, which is also a boarding school in Elishon. So looking at her grade and looking at mine, I felt very bad. That have I been wasting my life all this while? Especially when I wanted to, everybody always vibe for the fact that I want to get into university and everything. And JAM started doing started feeling like, am I very bad at all academic sections? I started striving because I wanted to get to the next level. Not everybody would be able to come back that way, and especially God was involved because my parents, I don't go to church. in school, secondary school. Then sometimes I act as if I'm sick, and my pastor will come and drag me from the hostel, from the dormitory, that you must go to church because I beat the conga in church then. But my spiritual life was just zero. So while I was with my parents, because of their guidance, I started going to church, started hearing the word, started reducing things that I do, drinking and everything. I started just, before I knew it, I became myself then. From the Polytechnic, because I went to the Polytechnic, I went to Lagos
Do you
City
still
Polytechnic.
see boarding school much relevant than the day school with your whole experiences?
Sincerely, it depends on the kind of school.
Your
But
school was a fantastic school.
it is academically and let's say all respect to the late Taisha.
All right. At the end of every show, we always have what's called the grading segment. So for the grading, we have A, C, and F. A is excellent, C is fair, and F is terrible. Now we'll begin with your parents and other parents who refuse to check the academic progress of their children, social progress of their children, developmental stages of their children. How would you rate, beginning with your parents' attitudes towards your academic and social development in school? You would rate them fair?
Yeah, fair.
Because they were bringing the provisions. That
they made sure I was alive.
Okay, so how would you rate the government, who could not put, better
social
standards
amenities into place? F. Yes, F, because it really affected us. We were having a very shattered...
Government controlled your school at the period?
Yes, at that period. So we had a very bad
So for your teachers?
For my teachers, A.
They did their best?
Yes, they did their best.
Wow, you're sincere enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Tomiwa
much. Yes.
Oyatomi for being on the show. So you've heard it all. He shared his life in secondary school and how that has shaped his life. He is now a painter.
Yes,
It's
an
called
artist.
it artist.
Contemporary artist.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
So you go on Facebook and see this assignment. How did secondary school help to develop you? Share your own view on how the secondary school helped to develop you. So you go to Facebook, follow us on Facebook, and share the answer with us. Until we come your way next time, remain blessed, and don't forget that education is the bedrock of every society. We need quality education for our nation to develop better. God bless you, and bye-bye.